Number 4 Ohio State travels to number 3 Penn State Saturday afternoon in a clash that has major implications for both the Big Ten race and the 12-team college football playoff. It's another marquee game in a season filled with them. This is the fourth matchup between top 5 teams this season, the most in a single year. By comparison, 2023 had just one regular season top 5 matchup. Betting odds, as well as recent history, are certainly on Ohio State's side. The Buckeyes have won 7 straight against the Nittany Lions, the longest winning streak for either team since they started playing annually in 1993. Buckeyes coach Ryan Day is 5-0 against Penn State. All 5 wins were by at least 8 points. This will also be the 8th straight time both teams come into the game ranked, and the first that both are in the top 5 of the AP poll since 1996, when number 3 Ohio State beat number 4 Penn State 38-7. Penn State hasn't beaten Ohio State when both teams were ranked since 2008. Penn State enters in a good position, though. The Nittany Lions are one of just 8 remaining undefeated teams at the FBS level and currently a minus 650 bet to make the college football playoff, according to FanDuel. There are 3 in the Big Ten alone, as Penn State is joined by number 1 Oregon, which beat Ohio State in October, and number 13 Indiana. So remaining unblemished is crucial for a team's Big Ten hopes. Number 4 Ohio State football travels to Happy Valley for a massive football showdown at number 3 Penn State on Saturday. Here is everything you need to know before kickoff. All eyes on Allar's status. Penn State coach James Franklin said Monday that quarterback Drew Allar will be a game-time decision against the Buckeyes. Allar exited late in the first half of Penn State's Week 9 win against Wisconsin with an apparent knee injury. He tried to warm up before the start of the third quarter, but was unable to return. His absence would, obviously, be a huge loss for the Nittany Lions. Allar has started 20 straight games, as Penn State is the only Big Ten school with one starting quarterback over the past 2 seasons. He also leads the Big Ten in passing yards, 4,271, and touchdowns, 37, since the 2023 season began. How to watch Ohio State versus Penn State live. Date: Saturday, November 2nd time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Location: Beaver Stadium, University Park, Pennsylvania. TV: Fox live stream. Fubo, try for free. Both Ohio State and Penn State come into this game at a crossroads. Each head coach has been questioned for his ability to win a big game, as Ryan Day and James Franklin have combined to win just 3 top 5 matchups in their careers. So which coach will this game mean more to? Listen to Steven, Andrew, and Stefan discuss it on their game preview episode of Buckeye Talk. If you've never listened to Buckeye Talk, try it now. Subscribe to Buckeye Talk on any of these podcast platforms or wherever you listen to podcasts. There's a lot of offensive uncertainty surrounding this game, with Allar's status up in the air and Ohio State trying to figure some things out on the fly along the offensive line. Even if Allar's able to go, there's no telling if he'll be 100%. This has all the makings of a defensive slugfest. Ohio State and Penn State both rank top 3 in the Big Ten in total defense and scoring defense. Each has only allowed conference opponents to score above 20 points once this season, which, unless the game skews totally towards one side, would be required to hit the over. It's a small betting line, but it doesn't feel like there will be a ton of points scored. Pick: under 46.5, minus 110. Series info. This is the 39th meeting between the two schools. Ohio State is 24-14 against Penn State, including a 20-12 win in 2023 to extend its winning streak in the series to 7 games. The stakes for Penn State: Ohio State have never been higher. Number 3 Penn State and number 4 Ohio State play at noon Saturday in Beaver Stadium in a game that will shape the college football playoff field. Recent history would suggest this game will be full of drama. It seemingly always is when these teams play, even though the Buckeyes have dominated during James Franklin's Penn State tenure. He's 1-9 versus Ohio State. This feels like Day's biggest regular season game not played against Michigan. Ohio State hasn't lost to Penn State since 2016, and the Buckeyes have the more talented team. A win should be expected, but after a loss at Oregon, there hasn't been more regular season pressure on Day than there is this weekend. His 2-7 record against top 5 opponents has been dissected multiple times, but more important than that is this season. Ohio State went all in this year, spending upwards of $20 million in nil to put this team together, with much spent on retaining talent. That led to a national championship or bust mentality for the Buckeyes. Another top 5 loss would hurt those chances. Ohio State could still win out, which would include beating Indiana and make the playoff, but a loss Saturday means there's no Big Ten title game in the Buckeyes' future. When the Big Ten eliminated divisions, an appearance in Indianapolis seemed like at least a must this year, no matter what happened. Now, that's in question. This is the game for Day. He has to win it. Since losing to Oregon, the Buckeyes have been under a microscope from a national standpoint, and a 21-17 win over Nebraska didn't instill confidence last weekend. A win Saturday would stabilize the fan base, give Ohio State its resume-building top 5 win, and cool his seat a little bit longer. Much like Georgia needed a win at Texas after losing to Alabama, this could put Ohio State back in the driver's seat for a Big Ten title appearance and a potential first-round bye in the college football playoff. If not, the criticisms about the program will only get louder. Teague Robinson. Ohio State is the more talented team at the skill positions, and I think the quarterback battle will be a wash whether it's Howard versus Aller or Howard versus Pribula, so that will keep the game close. But if Ohio State can't block, the skill players don't mean much, and we haven't seen anything in the last 6 quarters of football to prove the Buckeyes can run the ball and pass protect consistently enough to win this game. Penn State 21, Ohio State 17. Snyder. Everything for Penn State has been geared toward this year. The recruiting class that was led by Aller, Singleton, and Carter now has its chance to shine. This is Penn State's moment at home, and with arguably the better of the 2 starting quarterbacks, assuming Aller remains on track to play. There could be a superstar moment from Carter, who could exploit this offensive line. This is Penn State's best chance to beat Ohio State. I would not be surprised if it happens. But I'm also not picking Penn State because I need to see it to believe it. After picking the Nittany Lions to win last year, I said I wouldn't pick PSU again in this matchup until it actually beats Ohio State. Keep in mind, Penn State has wiggle room in the playoff race. A loss to Ohio State doesn't mean what it's meant in previous years. Ohio State 24, Penn State 20.